to the question of why the owners of the vessel did not challenge America. This narrative sold to supportive ears that Antigua and Barbuda is being victimized by the owners is nothing more than a subtle and most futile attempt at giving life to the dead rhetoric that somebody, somewhere, the owners of the vessel perhaps, maybe even in the figment of their own imaginations, is intent on victimizing Antigua and Barbuda. When from all reports coming from the respective sources suggest that America, like Pontius Pilate, gave the vessel over to the Sanhedrin, the Antigua government, washed their hands from any responsibility and told them that they're free to do as they will. And they willed to sell it. And their supporters shouted, sell it, sell it, sell it. Meanwhile, a subtle voice in the wilderness cries, do not sell the boat, it is mine. Yet alas, that voice in the wilderness ended up on a silver platter of Herod, and the boat was sold, making the simple answer to the question evident to those especially who are not willing to go into denial. Why the owners didn't challenge America? Because America did not sell their yacht. We did. And yes, it done sell. Now it turns out to be a dunce idea after all. Unethical, irresponsible, grabalicious, desperate and raving. I don't care what law written by man in a book gave you legal premise. Colonialism and slavery were legal, unethical, especially since a challenge to ownership have always existed. Yes, it has. And you all know it did. We all did. But for the outcome, it was ignored. That challenge, that wilderness voice screaming for her possession, is why the government indemnified the purchaser against any litigation that might follow the sale. Would that be done except the purchaser and owner seller understood that they would be liable as repercussions? And the purchaser refused to close on the sale except that they are protected from the expected fallout? 1 and 1 still make 2, yeah? So it's safe to conclude that as surprised that you may desire yourself to be perceived, being innocent of the why she chooses to pursue, 1 + 1 suggests that you would have at least spoken about it in premise and decided to let the chips fall where they may, even if those chips is in our treasury and require much more maintenance than the boat ever did or would have. So, to mop up some spilt milk, it shouldn't have been sold. You asked most passionately what else could have been done, and subsequently answered your own impassioned plea with the notion that of the other choices that may have existed, you are convinced the one you chose is the right one. If we end up spending more money on legal fees and negative spin-offs in global etiquette, would it be still the best of the choices? Was one of these choices the reality that there is at least one other country who faced similar expenses and experience with a sanctioned vessel, and called the USA and told them that they cannot afford to keep it in their waters to comfort it? Which they did. Then I sell the people and them thing, but unfortunately you did, so we did, now we pay the price. Who gets the rewards after all? After all that. So instead of taking responsibility, we're using political rhetoric to turn it into a political civil war. This had nothing to do with UPP, or citizens like me. To divide and rule is a colonial plan, but not a free man's stand. Don't be like the colonizer. That old colonial strategy of misdirecting attention to some mysterious dead opposition in a determination to undermine scrutiny and dissent. That strategy is dead. The real issue is this: that whether or not you are vindicated or found guilty, we the people who recommended another look at the issue of Alfred Nero, and your supporters, Antigua and Barbuda, the brand, are going to be paying monies to defend ourselves against what again? Something which in hindsight, perhaps sight, appears to be inappropriate choices made out of desperation and not planning. How will we, Antiguans and Barbudans, UPPites, Laborites, Gastonites, Chetites, and Iriites, afford to pay for this mess? What is it that we need to do to avoid paying any legal fees? Can the $900 lawyers make a motion that would end this nonsense right away? How do we resolve the minds of the concerned with regards to the negative spin-offs which we'll know will come? What is our plan going forward? Until there's decision that files the issue away, simply laughing at the investigation, investigators, courts calling names, hurling what is understood to be basic accusations, towards local dissenting voices who are questioning the scenario, that will not stop everything negative that is to be born out of it. It will not stop it from being born. So let's take some responsibility and at least begin to right the wrongs that were committed in protocol that led us here. Them are the something about, not you people, are people like me. Wrench of a Titan board, not for trying to bike spoke. You check?
I am the voice of my nation, standing independently. No chain of blind loyalty gonna govern me. My vote, my choice, it's a sacred sound, a weapon for justice on solid ground. No more party colors to cloud my mind. I see the truth, I walk the line. Antigua and Barbuda, hear this call. Together we rise, or divided we fall. The vote is in my hand, I am my vote. That's the key to the plan. Independent voter holds all accountable, man. No party can own me. My voice is my guide. For Antigua's future, I stand with pride.